Come on, lay down.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here today with a very special interview. You guys may recognize this very lovely young lady on my right. Welcome to Kate from this current season of Love During Lockup, and she's involved in a very interesting storyline, which we'll get into in a second. Hi, Kate. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
My first question for you is, whose idea was it to sign up for the show?
I think you'll love this answer.
Okay.
Actually, one of the Right a Prisoner girls that was talking to Hunter told him about the show.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then
I'm
he
liking this
asked,
already.
yeah, he asked me to sign us up for it. So I submitted like a Google form
Right.
basically, and I never thought I'd hear about it again. I was like, this is this cute thing that I did to like sign us up for the show,
Right.
and got to tell him I did that. And then I thought,
Right.
we'll just never hear about it again. And then here we are, halfway
Exactly.
through the season.
Are you a big reality TV fan in general?
Not really. I had never seen an episode of the show until our season came out.
Okay.
Um, the only reality show I've ever really watched is Love is Blind. Bullet, come on. Sorry, my dog's barking. Come
No,
here.
don't worry. That's a good one. Love is Blind is
Um,
a good one. Yeah.
yeah, Love is Blind, and my favorite is the Brazilian seasons because
Okay.
everyone is so beautiful and so emotional, and I just love them. But no, I'm really more of like a sci-fi and like British crime drama kind of TV
Oh, that's
person.
cool.
So
Okay. Okay.
this was
So
a new venture for sure.
once you heard back from WeTV,
Hmm.
what made you think that this would be a good idea? Putting your love story out there with Hunter, with the writer prisoner twist.
Yeah. So I'll say the right of prisoner part of our that part of our story is
Right,
a very like small part of our whole story.
right,
And it was what the show decided was interesting and compelling about our relationship. There's so much more to our relationship than that. There was so much more to our relationship than that. And that's just sort of what they chose to focus on. And
right.
it's an
They just
interesting
laser
part.
focused on that.
Yeah. It's an interesting part. I
It is.
understand.
It is.
But just a small part of our whole dynamic. So
Right,
I did not, when I was interviewing for the show, didn't think that that was going to be, the main part of our story.
right,
Um, it definitely became the main part of our story and definitely got bigger than I expected it to be. But yeah, I was just excited to kind of show people that just because somebody has spent time or is spending time in prison, that they're not that different from normal people,
right,
where
right.
they still have, human feelings. And
Exactly.
just because the guy is big and tattooed and spent
Right.
time in
Doesn't
prison
mean
doesn't
that he
mean
doesn't
he's
have emotions and
right.
emotional needs and stuff like
Yeah, it
that.
doesn't mean that he's scary or bad person.
Right.
But he has, just like anybody, we all have our faults and our strengths and weaknesses. So I thought it was compelling to sort of normalize a little bit that there are people who are in this situation who still have normal lives.
Right. So you were hoping that they were focused more on that part of your relationship than the writer prisoner part.
um yeah, I guess I did.
Right. And of course, all they want is drama because this is reality TV.
Doesn't everybody?
You know? So, what qualities about Hunter made you fall in love with him?
Um, he's a very charming man. He is um he's a very sweet guy. I think that's something that like you don't get to see very much on the show. Or maybe like when you do see it, it doesn't feel very genuine.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah.
understandably.
It doesn't, Kate. I'm sorry. It does.
Yeah, that's okay.
At this point, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, he's a very I said this when I interviewed for the show. He and I had a very casual relationship before he went into prison. And when he was in my life, when we would spend time together, we had a very fun time. It was very joyful. He brought a lot of joy to my life. And when he wasn't around, he just wasn't around. It wasn't, at the
Right,
time, it wasn't really my business. We weren't involved very, seriously. So when he did come around, I had, a lot of fun, and there was, a lot of laughter.
a
And then when he
connection.
wasn't, yeah, and when he
Right,
wasn't around, it was what it was. So,
right, right. What do you and Hunter have in common?
so we both, over the last 2 years, um, what connected us and like made us romantically involved recently
Right,
is that we both sort of started to prioritize different things. So I stayed in touch with him when he went into prison as a friend. And so we would talk, and we talked quite a bit, sometimes more than others, but he really was committed to his sobriety and to wanting to set himself up for a stable and reliable life when he got out. So I also was kind of a party girl and like
right.
before he went in, and my life changed a little bit, and that like I definitely like cut back on drinking alcohol, on going out, and wanted my to find some stability and routine in my life as well. So we really connect on that. We have connected on that level,
Right.
um, where
Same
we both
page.
sort of want things to be predictable and reliable and
Right. Yeah, and just
still in that way.
a boring couple life, where you could just
Yes,
depend
yeah.
on each other.
I usually go to bed at like 8:30.
Right, exactly. So, you and Hunter were friends when he first
Yeah,
went in, and then it turned romantic,
yeah.
right? So, what possessed you to sign him up for these writer prisoner websites?
So the order of things was that we were friends when he went in. I
Right.
signed him up for Write a Prisoner. And then when it got closer to him getting out and we were talking regularly, he expressed interest in pursuing a romantic relationship when he got out.
Okay.
So he sort of chipped away at me. He was
So
like,
when you signed him up, you guys were still in the friend stage.
we were
Like
friends. Yeah.
it was kind of like you just helping him.
Yeah, I was dating
Right.
other people
Okay.
then.
There
So,
you go.
who am I to say? I was like, go have some fun. Be entertained,
Right.
flirt, get some, attention, and hopefully, make some money in the meantime.
Right. Right.
So,
So now I might have to ask you this. Now, as a woman, didn't you consider the potential emotional and financial damage that this would cause the woman that Hunter were talking to?
um, I'll put it this way. I don't feel sorry for a 60-year-old man who's dating a 27-year-old woman who he calls his best friend and who knows him better than anyone in the world, and he foots the bill for all of her stuff. I
Okay.
don't consider it different. If you're paying for it, you need to be aware of the terms of your contract, right?
Yes.
And so if you're paying for love and affection, you need to be aware that probably the love and affection is coming at a price. So
Do you watch the episodes?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so what are you thinking when you're watching the Kayleigh parts?
um I I guess I feel like it's a hard one to answer. um I don't like hearing him say things that he says to me. Like it feels recycled. Like he's
Right.
recycling things that he says to
That
me
was
to.
actually my that was my next question. How do you
Yeah,
feel hearing him say these things to
yeah.
Kayleigh?
I
Yeah,
mean, I guess like I was aware that he was saying things like that to people, as a part of selling the fantasy of him.
right.
In these sugar mama situations, but it is definitely a different feeling to hear it and see it. So yeah, I mean, I feel a little jealous, I guess.
So, after hearing the way that he talked to Kayleigh and all the things that he said to her, how can you trust him like ever again?
um, I think, and I said this a lot on on the show to the producers. Who knows like what parts will be aired or not, but
Right.
I
Because it's
don't.
still early in the season.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't let myself. I take people at their word because otherwise I'm doing mental gymnastics, right? Like it's
okay,
keeping me up at night if I'm wondering.
right.
Um, in the end, if people are lying, the like it will not work out for them. And I truly believe that. So I
Right.
don't keep myself up at night wondering whether or not people are lying. Let them lie.
And the
And the
truth will
truth
come
will
out.
come out. And it will end up being more damaging to that person than it will be to me. So, we'll see.
That's a good way of seeing things. So are you still currently a yoga teacher?
I am, yes.
Do you have a
Yeah.
studio or do you do it online?
I teach 2 studio classes and I teach at a private country club.
Oh,
And then I am filming to put some more yoga classes online. I have a few online from the pandemic, but
oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Okay. How does riding horses help you?
So I've been riding horses since I was 7 years old. And to me, especially in this like very digital age, right? We're always on a computer, looking at
Right,
a screen, watching TV on our phones. You can't do that when you're riding. And it's hard to think about very much when you're riding too, because you need to be really aware of your surroundings and aware of what's going on with the horse. So
right,
to me, it's really helpful to take that break from all of the things and be really present.
right.
And it's kind of hard to be anything but when you're riding.
I
So
think I think a lot of us need to be more present.
yeah.
I think that's the problem
Yeah,
with
it's hard.
riding.
So
Yeah,
you have to do something, kind of extreme sometimes to make
right,
yourself.
exactly. Do you want marriage and children eventually down the road?
Um, those things have never been a priority for me.
Okay,
I My parents weren't happy when they were married. I have I have a sibling who is like was a tough kid to raise, and I saw
okay,
my mom go through that. So I really just haven't. It's never been a priority for me because it seemed like a lot of strife and heartache.
right.
Um, I would like to have a partner, but marriage isn't important to me.
A
If it
stable
was,
partner.
yeah, a stable partner. And if marriage was really important to them, I would be, willing to have that conversation. But I've never been a very traditional person. So to me, like checking off those boxes of, getting married, having kids, that's
Right.
not something that has ever been like a huge priority for me.
That's fair. How has the social media feedback been for you?
um, I've always aspired to be a dumb blonde.
Okay. Okay.
So being called out for being one on the internet has been just so validating.
You're like, yes, finally.
Yes, I am a dumb blonde. I feel so seen.
So are you looking at the Facebook groups and stuff and Reddit? Because Love After Lockup is one of those communities. Oh boy.
Yeah. No, I'm not on Facebook. And I have not gone on Reddit. I feel like maybe I should have you send me some links. um, but I'm on Instagram, and so I've gone and I've looked at some of the comments on
Right.
Instagram. I think it's what I expected, I guess.
Okay.
I think it's a complicated situation, and people are going to have feelings about it and opinions about it, especially based on their own experiences.
Right.
So it's all a part of the drama and the entertainment of it all.
Do you receive messages from fans that are like basically like, what's wrong with you? I was scammed by a prisoner. I mean, has like anybody hit you up like that?
I have gotten some feedback like that.
Okay.
Like I said, I think the nature of reality TV is that there's, a hyper focus on a certain part of a situation.
Right. The most dramatic
So,
part.
yeah. So, it's not the bigger picture. And, I understand why people feel the way that they feel and have the, thoughts and feelings that they're
Right.
having.
Exactly.
And everyone's entitled to that, and everyone's been through stuff, right? So, we all are bringing our own experiences into it too. So, yeah, I definitely have gotten a lot of, what are you thinking?
Of course, of course. And it's still really early in the season. We're only on like episode 5.
Yeah.
And, of course, we can't talk about what happened. So, be patient, everyone,
Yeah.
right? Be
Yeah.
patient.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe you all will think that I maybe know what I'm doing by the
oh,
end of the
right?
season.
Who knows?
Who knows?
So, what advice would you give someone who is in a relationship with someone in prison?
Don't do
There you
it.
go. That's what I like to hear.
Not don't recommend. 0 out of
Don't
10.
do not recommend. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
um Good question. I plan to teach yoga for the rest of my life, so I'll definitely be teaching yoga. I think I'll probably still be living in Arizona part of the year, but I hope in 5 years I'll be able to like be a reverse snowbird and get to go,
Oh,
spend my summers somewhere not as hot.
okay, cool.
um, I studied abroad in France, so I have friends still in Europe, and so I'd love to be spending more time over there. It's been harder since the pandemic to travel
Right,
for that way,
right.
but yeah.
Cool. So before I let you go, do you have a final message for the fans?
Yeah, stay tuned. Life is complicated and relationships are complicated. And the older you get and the more experience you have, the more you realize things are not simple. Unless you make them simple, and you can simplify things and make your life easier. But I think we all have our own things, our own preferences, our own, weird way of doing life. And, stay tuned and see what happens.
Exactly. I mean, who knows? Everybody might be saying, "Damn, Kate, you knew what the hell you were doing all along."
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who
Thank
knows?
you, girl, so much for joining me.
My
I greatly,
pleasure.
greatly appreciate it. And I want to talk to you when the season's over.
Yes,
So
let's do that.
so we can talk about everything.
Can't wait to
Okay.
spill all the secrets then.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.